She was never supposed to be there. One wrong turn, one locked door, one moment of silence before gunfire erupted. He saw her, and in that instant, Kang Min-ho had a choice. End her life, or destroy the one rule that kept him untouchable. Because the woman standing in the shadows didn't just witness his world, she changed it. And loving her would cost him more than power, blood, or loyalty ever could. Gunfire cracked through the night. Kang Min-ho didn't flinch. He stood in the open corridor of the underground garage, suit jacket unbuttoned, eyes calm as chaos unfolded around him. One of his men stumbled back, blood blooming across his shoulder. Another fired blindly into the dark. "Enough," Min-ho said, voice low but cutting. The gunfire stopped immediately. A man was dragged forward, shaking, face bruised, eyes wide with terror. He was young. Too young to have made the mistake he'd made. Min-ho stepped closer, his shoes echoing softly against concrete. "You were told not to look," Min-ho said. I didn't know who you were," the man stammered. "I swear. Min-ho raised a hand. Silence fell again. Then Min-ho's gaze shifted past the man. To her. She stood frozen near the far wall, a small handbag clutched to her chest, dark eyes fixed on him. Not screaming, not crying, just watching, absorbing everything. That was the problem. She had seen too much. Min-ho turned fully toward her, their eyes locked. For a brief moment, something unfamiliar stirred in his chest. Not fear, not anger, awareness. "Who is she?" one of his men asked quietly. Min-ho didn't answer immediately. His eyes never left her face. "Bring her," he said at last. Her breath hitched as two men approached, but she didn't fight, didn't run. She walked forward on her own, steps careful, spine straight, dignity intact despite the danger humming in the air. When she stopped in front of him, Min-ho noticed the smallest details against his will. The way her hands trembled slightly. The way she lifted her chin, refusing to look small. "What's your name?" he asked. "Diana," she said softly. "Diana Okoye." The name settled into him like a quiet echo. "She's American," one of the men added. "Tourist. Wrong place, wrong time." Min-ho studied her for another long second. Then he made a decision. "She stays," he said. The man on his knees began to cry. Min-ho turned away first. "Hey family, a new story just dropped. Make sure you follow this page so you never miss the next twist. Drop your location in the comments and tell me, do you think Diana is safe under his protection? Or more in danger than ever? Now let's continue." Diana Okoye didn't sleep that night. The room they placed her in was quiet. Too quiet. Clean. Expensive. Locked. She sat on the edge of the bed, hands folded in her lap, replaying the moment over and over again. The gunshots. The blood. The way the man called Min-ho's name with fear instead of respect. And him. The way he had looked at her. Not with hunger. Not with threat. But like someone calculating consequences. A soft knock came at the door. She stiffened. "Yes?" The door opened slowly. Kang Min-ho stepped inside alone. He had removed his jacket, rolled his sleeves. He looked human now, which somehow made him more dangerous. "You're awake," he said. "I don't think sleep is possible," she replied. A pause. "That's understandable." He gestured toward the chair across from her, but didn't sit until she nodded. "You were not meant to be there tonight," he said. "But you were." "I wasn't spying," Diana said quickly. "I swear, I was just trying to find the exit." "I believe you." She blinked. "You do?" "Yes." Another pause. Heavy. Intentional. "However," he continued, "you saw my face, my men, my operations." Her throat tightened. "So what happens to me?" Min-ho leaned back slightly, studying her again. She noticed now how controlled he was. every movement deliberate, every word measured. "You will remain here," he said, "for your safety." "And my freedom?" "For now," he said evenly. "Those are the same thing." She swallowed. "How long?" "As long as necessary." Silence stretched between them. "You could have killed me," she said quietly. "Yes. But you didn't." "No." "Why?" Min-ho's jaw tightened. Just slightly. "Because I don't kill people who don't choose my world," he said. "And because fear is not something I use on women." Her chest ached at that. She didn't know why. He stood. "There are rules," he said. "You will not leave without permission. You will not wander alone. My men will treat you with respect." He hesitated, then added, "And you will not be touched." She looked up sharply. "By anyone," Min-ho said. His voice lowered. "Including me." That sentence changed something in the room. "Why would you need to say that?" she asked. Min-ho met her eyes again. "Because lines matter," he said. "Especially when they are tempting to cross." Her breath caught. He turned toward the door, then paused. "You are under my protection, Diana Okoye," he said without looking back. "Remember that." The door closed behind him. Diana sat there long after he was gone, heart racing, mind spinning. Protection. She wasn't sure if it was a promise or a cage. If this pulled, Diana learned Kang Min-ho's silence before she learned his routines. He didn't hover. He didn't check on her every hour. He didn't come knocking with questions or threats. Instead, he existed around her like a constant shadow. Present, aware, watching from a distance that felt intentional. Too intentional. She noticed him in reflections before she noticed him directly. Glass, doors, dark screens, the polished surface of the dining table. Always watching, never staring. It unsettled her more than aggression ever could. By the third day, she was allowed outside the room. A man escorted her through long corridors into a quiet sitting area that overlooked the city. Soul stretched beneath the windows, glowing, alive, unaware of the world she had fallen into. "You can sit," the guard said politely. "Chairman Kang will join you shortly." Chairman. The word landed differently now. Diana sat, folding her hands together, heart beating too fast for someone who was supposedly under protection. Min-ho entered minutes later. He had changed again. No suit this time, just dark trousers and a pressed shirt, sleeves rolled to his forearms. He looked less like a criminal mastermind and more like a man who owned the city by breathing in it. "Good morning," he said. "Is it?" she asked before she could stop herself. A corner of his mouth lifted. "Barely." "That depends," he replied, taking the seat across from her. "Have you eaten?" "Yes." "Good." That was it. No follow-up, no concern dressed up as politeness. She studied him carefully now, the way he studied everyone else. His posture was relaxed, but his eyes were alert. Calculating. Nothing about him felt accidental. "You don't ask many questions," she said. "You don't answer many," he countered. "Fair." She inhaled. "How long do you plan to keep me here?" "As long as it takes for you to be safe." "And when will that be?" "When my enemies stop wondering what you heard." Her chest tightened. "So I'm a liability." "You're a risk," he corrected. "There's a difference." She didn't like how calm he sounded saying that. Silence settled between them again. Min-ho broke it first. "I've arranged for someone to bring you clothes, books, anything reasonable you request." "Anything?" she asked softly. He met her eyes. "Within boundaries." "Of course." Another pause. "Why are you so calm?" he asked suddenly. Diana blinked. "I'm not." "You are," he said. "Most people in your position cry. Bargain. Beg. And what happens to them?" They exhaust themselves. She swallowed. Then I'd rather stay quiet. Something shifted in his gaze. Not interest. Respect. That realization scared her more than fear ever could. That night, Diana heard voices outside her door. Not raised, controlled, tense. I don't like this, one of the men said. Keeping her alive is a risk. And killing her is unnecessary, Min-ho replied. She's seen your face. So have dozens of people who still breathe. That's different. I said no. The conversation ended abruptly. Diana pressed her palm to her chest, heart hammering. He was protecting her, not out of softness, out of principle. And principles, she was beginning to realize, mattered deeply to Kang Min-ho. Days passed, then a week. Diana's movements became routine. Breakfast, reading, short walks under supervision, conversations with staff who treated her like glass, careful, respectful, distant. And Min-ho, he appeared unpredictably, sometimes during meals, sometimes late at night when she couldn't sleep, and wandered into the sitting area only to find him standing by the window, staring down at the city. They never touched. They rarely spoke more than necessary. Yet every conversation felt loaded with things unsaid. One evening, she found him in the kitchen. That surprised her. He was pouring himself water, sleeves rolled up again, tie discarded. He looked tired. She hesitated at the doorway. You can come in, he said without turning around. I didn't know this space was shared. It's not, he said. But tonight, it is. She stepped inside slowly. You work a lot, she said. Yes. Do you ever rest? No. She frowned. That doesn't sound healthy. He finally turned to face her. Health is a luxury. So is loneliness, she said before she could stop herself. The air changed. Min-ho's gaze sharpened. You think I'm lonely? I think, she said carefully, that someone can be surrounded by people and still be alone. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then quietly, You're observant. She shrugged. I had time. He set the glass down, eyes never leaving her face. You should be careful with your conclusions, he said. They can become dangerous. She lifted her chin. So can assumptions. That earned her another almost smile. Dangerous. She was becoming aware of it now. Not the danger of his world, but the danger of the space between them shrinking. Later that night, Diana couldn't sleep. She padded quietly down the corridor, drawn by the low hum of voices. She shouldn't have followed the sound, but she did. Min-ho stood in a private office with two men, tension thick in the air. She fits the description, one said. Nigerian. Female. Wrong place. Min-ho's posture went rigid. She is not involved, he said coldly. Then why is she still here? Because I said so. She's becoming a weakness. The word hung heavy. Min-ho stepped closer to the man, voice low and lethal. Be very careful what you call a weakness. Silence. She will be moved, Min-ho continued. Soon. Diana stepped back, heart racing, moved. The word echoed painfully in her chest. Back in her room, she sat on the bed, hands shaking. She didn't know why the thought of leaving unsettled her so deeply. She didn't know when safety had started to feel like distance. The next morning, Min-ho sought her out. We need to talk, he said. Her stomach clenched. About moving me? Yes. She swallowed. When? Soon. Where? Somewhere safer. For who? She asked quietly. You or me? His jaw tightened. Diana. Because if it's for you, she continued softly, then say that. The room fell silent. Min-ho looked at her like she had stripped something bare. You don't belong in my world, he said at last. Neither do you, she replied. Not fully. That was when he stood. Distance reappeared between them like a wall. You are under my protection, he said, voice firm. Do not confuse that with closeness. Her chest ached. Then stop looking at me like that. His breath stilled. I don't, he said. She met his eyes. You do. That moment stretched, dangerous, electric, unfinished. Then he turned away. Conversation over. If this tension has you holding your breath, like the video, subscribe and drop a comment. Because what comes next will test every rule Kang Min-ho believes in. The first sign that things were changing came quietly. Too quietly. Diana noticed it in the way Min-ho stopped appearing at night. The late encounters by the window ended. The kitchen conversations disappeared. Days passed without seeing him except in passing, always with someone else present. Distance. Intentional distance. She told herself it was logical. He had said she would be moved. Detachment was expected. But logic did nothing for the hollow ache settling in her chest. One afternoon, she was escorted into the garden area for fresh air. It was small but carefully maintained, shielded by tall walls and security cameras she no longer bothered counting. She sat on a bench, book forgotten in her lap. Mind if I join you? She looked up. It wasn't Min-ho. The man standing there was younger, relaxed, dressed in civilian clothes. He smiled easily, like someone who hadn't learned to hide behind control. I'm Ji-woon, he said. Security detail. I thought security didn't talk, Diana replied. He chuckled. Chairman Kang prefers silence. I don't. She hesitated, then nodded. Diana. I know. That should have unsettled her. Instead, she found herself smiling faintly. Ji-woon sat beside her, keeping a respectful distance. You don't look like someone who belongs here. I don't, she said honestly. Then why stay so calm? She exhaled. Because panic doesn't change outcomes. He studied her with interest. You sound like him. She stiffened. Like who? Chairman Kang. Before she could respond, she felt it. The shift. The air tightened, like a string pulled too far. She looked up. Min-ho stood at the edge of the garden. He wasn't angry. That was worse. His expression was unreadable, eyes fixed not on her, but on Ji-woon. Is there a problem? Ji-woon asked casually. Yes, Min-ho said. You're dismissed. Ji-woon blinked. Sir? Now. Ji-woon stood immediately. Of course. He nodded politely at Diana before leaving. The silence that followed was heavy. Min-ho approached slowly. You shouldn't be alone with my men, he said. I wasn't alone, she replied. I was supervised. That is not the same thing, she frowned. Why? He stopped a few feet away. Because proximity creates familiarity, he said. And familiarity leads to mistakes. Her heart beat faster. Is that a rule? Yes. Only for me? For everyone. She searched his face. You don't like him. Min-ho's jaw tightened. That is irrelevant. So you do. A pause. You're being moved, he said abruptly. Her breath caught. When? Soon. Where? A secure location. Far from you? His eyes met hers. Yes. The word landed like a wound. I thought you said this was about my safety, she whispered. It is. Then why does it feel like punishment? Min-ho said nothing. That was answer enough. That night, Diana cried for the first time. Quietly, carefully, as if emotion itself might be dangerous here. She didn't understand when it had happened, when protection had turned into attachment, when safety had started to feel like something she was about to lose. She pressed her palm to her chest, trying to steady herself. This wasn't love. It couldn't be. It was proximity. Gratitude. Trauma. She repeated that until the words lost meaning. The threat escalated 2 days later. A car followed her convoy. Subtle. Professional. Min-ho noticed immediately. He ordered a detour without explanation. Diana felt the car accelerate, tension snapping into place like a loaded weapon. "What's happening?" she asked. "Stay calm," Min-ho said from the seat across from her. She watched his face carefully now. No fear, just focus. The following car fell back, but didn't disappear. "Someone's testing boundaries," Min-ho said quietly. "Because of me," Diana whispered. "Yes." Her chest tightened. "Then move me. Now." His gaze flickered. "No." She stared at him. "You just said—" "I won't move you while someone is watching," he said. "That makes you vulnerable." "Then what do we do?" His voice lowered. "We wait." The word sent a strange thrill through her. Waiting meant staying. Staying meant closeness. That realization scared her more than the car behind them ever could. That evening, Diana confronted him. She found him in the office again, studying reports, expression carved from stone. "You're angry," she said. "I'm occupied." "You're angry," she repeated. He looked up slowly. "This is not the time." "When is?" she asked softly. He exhaled. "You shouldn't have been in the garden." "I was lonely." The word slipped out before she could stop it. Something broke in his expression, just for a second. "You don't get lonely," he said. "You endure." "I'm not made of steel," she replied. "I'm human." He stood. That was becoming his escape. "You are under my protection," he said. "I won't allow emotional confusion to compromise that." Her voice trembled. "Then stop confusing me." Silence. His hands clenched at his sides. "I don't touch you," he said. "I don't speak out of turn. I don't look at you the way I want to." Her breath hitched. "I have done everything right," he continued, voice low and strained. "Do not ask me to do more." Tears burned her eyes. "I'm not asking you to break your rules," she whispered. "I just want to understand them." His gaze softened, just a fraction. "The rule exists," he said, "because the moment I cross it, I won't be able to stop." The confession hung between them, dangerous and raw. Diana took a shaky breath. "Then maybe the rule isn't protecting me." His eyes darkened. "Maybe it's protecting you," she finished. He turned away sharply. Conversation over. But something irreversible had shifted. Outside, unseen, someone watched the building. And waited. If this story has you emotionally invested, like, subscribe, and comment. Because the next part will push Kang Min-ho to his breaking point. The attack didn't come loudly. It came politely. Diana was reading in the sitting area when her phone buzzed for the first time since she'd been brought there. The device had been returned to her days earlier, stripped of contacts, monitored, but functional. The message was a single line. "I know where you are." Her fingers went cold. She stood slowly, heart pounding, and walked straight toward Min-ho's office. 2 guards tried to stop her. "I need to see him," she said. "Now." Something in her voice made them move aside. Min-ho looked up the moment she entered. "What happened?" he asked immediately. She handed him the phone. He read the message once, then again. The temperature in the room dropped. "Did you respond?" he asked. "No." "Good." He pressed a button on his desk. "Lock the building. No exits. Bring me the security feed." Diana watched him transform. This was not the calm protector. This was the man his enemies feared. "You're moving me," she said. "Yes." "Now." "Yes." "Far?" He met her eyes. "Far enough." Her chest tightened painfully. "You said you wouldn't while someone was watching." "I lied," he said quietly. "I won't risk you." The word struck her harder than the threat. You, not the situation, not the liability. Her. "Who sent it?" she asked. Min-ho didn't answer immediately. "That doesn't matter," he said finally. "What matters is that they used your number." Which means someone close leaked it, she said. His jaw clenched. Yes, she swallowed. Someone I spoke to? Yes. Her mind jumped instantly. Ji-woon. She saw it in Min-ho's eyes before he confirmed it. He didn't mean to hurt you, Min-ho said coldly. But intention doesn't change outcome. What will you do to him? She asked. His silence was answer enough. Min-ho, she said softly. That was the first time she had said his name without his title. He stilled. Please, she added. Don't. His gaze flickered to her lips, then back to her eyes. This is not your burden, he said. But it is my consequence, she replied. If I hadn't been here... He crossed the room in 3 long strides, stopped himself inches from her. You are not the problem, he said, voice low and fierce. Do you understand me? Her breath trembled. Then why does it feel like I ruin everything I touch? His hands clenched. Because I want you? He didn't say. Because you make restraint painful? He didn't say. Because this world bends around you? He didn't say. Instead, he stepped back. Distance. Again. You leave tonight, he said. Her heart cracked quietly. Will I see you again? He looked away. I don't know, he said honestly. The drive was silent. Too silent. Diana sat across from Min-ho in the car, hands folded tightly in her lap. The city blurred past the windows, lights streaking like memories she wasn't ready to let go of. Where are we going? She asked. A temporary house, he replied. Outside the city. And after that? We'll see. She nodded slowly. You always say that, she said. It's the truth. Or avoidance. His eyes shifted to her. You don't hesitate to challenge me, he said. I don't hesitate to question things that affect me. He studied her for a long moment. That's why this is dangerous, he said quietly. She leaned forward slightly. Because I'm not afraid of you. Because you don't worship me, he corrected. And you don't fear me. I fear you, she said. Just not in the way you expect. The car hit a bump. His breath caught almost imperceptibly. They didn't speak again. The house was smaller, quieter, surrounded by trees instead of walls. Min-ho escorted her inside personally, dismissing the guards once she was settled. You'll stay here until this is resolved, he said. And you? I'll return to the city. Her throat tightened. You're leaving. Yes. When? Now. She nodded, forcing calm. Of course. He turned toward the door. Min-ho, she said softly. He stopped. I don't regret knowing you, she said, no matter how this ends. He didn't turn around. That makes one of us, he replied. The door closed behind him. Diana sank onto the couch, tears finally spilling over. She pressed her face into her hands, shoulders shaking. She didn't hear him return. She only felt it when the air changed. I lied, Min-ho said behind her. She looked up sharply. He stood a few feet away, jaw tight, eyes dark. I can't leave you like this, he continued. I told myself I could. I was wrong. Her heart thundered. Min-ho! Listen to me, he said, voice strained. This is the last time I cross this line. He moved closer. Still no touch. I removed every guard from this wing, he said. There are cameras, distance, boundaries. She stood slowly. Then why are you here? Because if something happens tonight, he said, I won't forgive myself. Tears slid down her cheeks. You don't have to carry this alone. His breath hitched. I do, he said. That's the cost of power. She stepped closer. Then let me stand with you, she whispered. His hands trembled. You're under my protection, he said hoarsely. And that is all I can offer. She nodded. Then stay. He stayed. They sat on opposite ends of the couch, close enough to feel each other's warmth, far enough to respect the rules still holding them apart. Minutes passed, then hours. Nothing happened. And yet, everything did. If your heart is racing right now, like this video, subscribe and comment, because the final part will break every rule we've built so carefully. Morning came quietly. No alarms, no gunfire, no sudden danger. Just light filtering through the windows and the soft sound of Diana's breathing as she slept on the far end of the couch. Min-ho hadn't slept. He sat across from her, elbows resting on his knees, hands clasped tightly together. He had spent the entire night watching the rise and fall of her chest, listening for any sound that might signal fear or distress. Nothing came. She looked peaceful, and that terrified him more than chaos ever had, because peace made him want things. He stood slowly and walked to the window, staring out at the trees. He had made his decision hours ago. He just hadn't found the courage to speak it aloud yet. Behind him, Diana stirred. She sat up, hair slightly disheveled, eyes heavy with sleep. For a moment, she looked at him like she didn't quite remember where she was. Then everything rushed back. "You stayed," she said softly. "Yes. You didn't have to." "I know." She stood and wrapped her arms around herself. "Why did you?" Min-ho turned to face her. "Because last night made something clear," he said. "Keeping you close while pretending I feel nothing is a lie. And lies get people killed." Her heart thudded painfully. "So what happens now?" He exhaled slowly. "I end this." She blinked. "End what?" "This situation, this imbalance, this protection that feels like a cage." Her breath caught. "You're sending me away." "No," he said firmly. "I'm setting you free." The words stunned her. "I've arranged new documents," he continued. "A new location. A new life if you want it. No surveillance, no guards, no ties to me or my world." Her chest tightened. "And you?" "I step back," he said. "Completely." She stared at him, emotions crashing into each other. "That's it? That's the only way this stays clean." Tears welled in her eyes. "And if I don't want clean?" He looked at her then. Really looked. "Then I need you to choose me," he said quietly. "Not because you're afraid, not because you're grateful, but because you want to." Silence filled the room. For the first time since meeting him, Diana realized something with terrifying clarity. He wasn't asking to take her. He was giving her back to herself. "You would let me walk away?" she whispered. "Yes." "Even if it hurts?" "Yes." Her voice trembled. "That's love." His jaw tightened. "That's respect." She took a step closer. "I don't want a new life," she said. "I want the truth. This is the truth. I don't want protection," she continued. "I want choice." He didn't move. "Then choose," he said. She closed the distance between them. He stilled completely. "I choose you," she said. "Not the boss. Not the world. You." His breath hitched. "Diana, you ended the rule," she said softly. "You stepped back. You gave me freedom." She lifted her hand slowly, giving him time to stop her. He didn't. "I'm choosing you freely," she whispered. "Now you can choose me." His restraint shattered, not explosively but quietly. He reached for her face, stopping just short of touching her skin. "Tell me to stop," he said hoarsely. She shook her head. "Don't." That was all it took. His hand finally cupped her cheek. The first touch was gentle, reverent, like he was afraid she might disappear. Diana exhaled a shaky breath as warmth spread through her chest. "This is the rule breaking," he murmured. "And it changes everything." She smiled through tears. "I know." He leaned his forehead against hers, eyes closed, breathing uneven. "I don't promise safety," he said. "I don't promise ease." "I don't need perfect," she replied. "I need real." He kissed her then, slowly, carefully, like a man who had waited too long and still chose patience. The world didn't end. Nothing exploded. But something shifted permanently. Later, they sat together in silence, fingers intertwined, no guards watching, no cameras between them. "Will you regret this?" she asked. "Never," he said immediately. "But it won't be easy." She nodded. "Love never is." He smiled faintly. "You sound certain." "I am." He squeezed her hand. "Then I'll do this the right way." "And that is?" "I dismantle the parts of my world that would harm you," he said. "I don't drag you into it." Her heart swelled painfully. "You would change everything? For you?" he said softly. "Yes." She rested her head on his shoulder. Outside, the trees swayed gently. No alarms, no violence. Just two people who chose each other despite every reason not to. If you stayed till the end, thank you for trusting this story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Would you choose Min-ho if you were in Diana's place? A new twist is always closer than you think.